So this week we are getting into responsive web design, and you are going to go through web-based readings, and the readings are going to focus primarily on responsive design and what is a viewport. The responsive layout that we're going to be working with this week is called grid view. So you're going to look at grid view. You're going to learn about media queries, responsive images, and video. And then in the lecture demo, we're going to kind of bring everything together and talk about responsive design and what the heck is a viewport, why do we need to use the tag, what are the various responsive widths and sizing that you can use. And some of them are just for text. A lot of these, especially this table, this is referring to font size. Okay, so don't use these settings for anything but fonts. And then you can see the example here is specifically font size, and you can see the difference in the different sizes and the different commands. And then we get into a mobile design layouts and grid view and how that is set up and how you would go about building a responsive page. And then once you do build a responsive page, well, what happens if it doesn't look quite right on different devices? What happens is you use a media query and check the size of the screen and you make adjustments based on that. So this section talks about media queries. And then we get into always design for mobile first, which is kind of a standard, and that's what we're going to be following in this class. So our default layout is going to be for a mobile phone, and we're going to use the media queries to adjust for tablets and desktop. Then we get into printer-friendly pages. Obviously with all the graphics and the color and the shadows, we don't want to print all that out. That would really waste ink. And so we create a separate CSS page for printing, and we kind of strip off all of that extra stuff that we don't need to print out. So we talk about how to do that and how to make our images and videos responsive. A lot of this information you already know. And then we talk about marketing the page, which is SEO. So what are things that you can do so that your page comes up first in the web searches? Okay, so all of this information you will then be incorporating into the textbook assignment exercises. And as usual, the textbook assignment is directive. So there are videos that explain how to do everything. And the first exercise deals with the Acme vertical folder. You'll be copying that from lesson 10 to lesson 11 and making that responsive. Okay, and this is something that you guys are already familiar with. So we're going to be adding the grid view to the CSS and then adding the column classes to the HTML. We'll also be adding the viewport meta tag to your pages. The next one is a new site. There's a series of pages, and so you're going to download and extract this, and then you are going to be setting up grid view for these pages. Okay, and so it does walk you through everything you need to change, and it is a mobile first layout. So we will be adding columns for desktop and the tablets. Then we're going to be adding some printer-friendly CSS to our Zen site. And then finally, we're going to be inserting some SEO attributes. Task 6 shows you how to preview your pages in Chrome, how to preview them for mobile. And it's actually pretty slick. So let me pull up, we'll pull up this page. If I press F12, I get into the developer panel, and there is a little button here that is a device toolbar. And so you can kind of simulate mobile in here. And there's a drop down, and you'll have some things in here by default, but if you go into edit, you will see that you can pretty much add whatever mobile devices you want. Okay, and then once you add a device, you will be able to select it from your list and see how it looks. Now, this is mobile, so, you'll have to use your mouse to drag, and you can't hover. So you actually have to kind of click on things. So it's kind of hard to see, all of the effects. But you will have an idea of at least how your layout is going to look. Okay. So it is really a good idea to check this emulator. Okay. And obviously there's nothing to turn in from the emulator, but I do want you guys to go in and use it. This is also where you would be able to disable the cache. So some of you have had problems with transferring your pages and you haven't been able to see the new code. And I've sent you directions, but when you press F12 and you open up this panel, the network tab has disable cache. And if you turn that on, for as long as you have this panel open, you can reload and you'll get your new stuff. And you don't have to keep it in mobile view. This is a toggle, so you can toggle this on and off. Okay. But a lot of times when I'm working, I have the panel open the whole time. Just because then when I reload, I know I'm going to get the new information. Okay, so that is your textbook assignment. The lab assignment has you creating your own responsive grid view page. You can use this as a basis for your term project. And so the Zen site is a really good example. You can follow that. Or I have links to 3 additional pages that the video kind of goes through in more detail, but I will quickly show you what they look like. And it's 2 different versions of my monster page, but this is kind of a 3-column page. And you can do either 2 or 3 columns. Okay, a 2-column example would be what you did for Acme. This is 3 columns with some kind of fun CSS. And this goes down to 2 columns on a tablet, 1 column on a phone. This is similar, but we've got tiles. These are flip tiles. Okay, and again, it goes down to 2 columns in a tablet and 1 column on a phone. Okay, and more information on the requirements and what you need to do is in the video. Okay, so that is what you're going to be working on this week. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. If you do run into problems, typically it's because you've got some CSS in there that you're not using that's kind of muddying the waters that needs to be removed. So if you do have problems, I certainly can help, but you are going to have to transfer everything to the web, and I need to see it in order to help you because CSS is cascading, and code that comes later on is going to override your earlier code. So I definitely have to see everything. Have a great week and let me know if you have any questions.